Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to talk about AWS Elastic Container Registry and AWS Elastic Container Services. So these are the services, designed and delivered by AWS, and ECR is that in Elastic Container Registry, similar to hub.docker.com. What we have talked into that in a Docker sections of a registry. Then we have a AWS Elastic Container Services. So Elastic Container Services, which is provide the container services for especially AWS, and it is entirely managed by that in a AWS itself. So we'll talk on that in more details about that in a Amazon Elastic Container Registry. So with help of a Amazon Elastic Container Registry, we can share and deploy container software publicly or privately. Amazon Elastic Container Registry (ECR) is fully managed container registry that make it easy to store, manage, share, and deploy your container images and artifacts anywhere. So similarly, what we have in hub.docker.com, and with help of that, you are deploying that in a, we are pushing that in our images in that in a registry. Same way we can use that in a ECR as well. The ECR Elastic Container Registry (ECR), which is the Elastic Container Registry, is fully managed Docker container registry that make it easy for developer to store, manage, and deploy Docker container images. ECR is integrated with Elastic Container Services, simplifying our development to productions workflow. ECR eliminates the need to operate our one container repository or worry about scaling or underlining infrastructure. ECR hosts our images in a highly available and scalable architectures, allowing us to reliably deploy containers for our applications. Integrations with AWS Identity and Access Management. With Amazon ECR, there are no upfront fees or commitment. We pay only for the amount of data you store. So the storage charge and data transfer charge will be applicable. Now, Amazon Elastic Container Services (ECS). So Amazon Elastic ECS make it easy to deploy, manage, and scale Docker containers, running application services, and batch process. Amazon ECS place container across your cluster based on the resource needs, as integrated with familiar features like elastic load balancing, EC2 security groups, EBS volume, and IAM role. The ECS also support that in a serverless. So we can use that in a serverless container. So we used to say that and Amazon provide the services known as the Fargate. So Fargate is the serverless implementations of Elastic Container Services. So we can use that in a Fargate or Elastic Container Services, and these are the objects we have: task definitions, cluster, service, and task. So we'll talk on that in one by one in detail. So here you can see cluster is the bigger unit or box where we have a service. So in one cluster there is a multiple service we can configure, followed by the same thing for task and container definitions. What is the container definitions? Nothing but container images and container level settings. Example: container image, port, registry, environment, variable to pass to container, etc. What is task definitions? A task definition is a blueprint for our applications and describe one or more containers through attributes. We have a task label and pre-containers. Then we have a service. A service allows you to run and maintain a specific number, the desired count of the simultaneous instances of the task defined in the ECS cluster. Then what is the Fargate cluster. The infrastructure in the Fargate cluster is fully managed by AWS. Our container runs without we managing in and configuring individual Amazon EC2 instances. So all in all, Fargate, there is no need to worry about that in a servers. All it will be taken care by the AWS itself. Lastly, we have a task. So a task is the instantiations of the task defined within a cluster. After we have created a task definitions for our applications within the ECS, we can specify the number of tasks that will run our cluster. Each task that use that in a Fargate launch type has its own isolations boundary and does not share the underlying kernel, CPU resources, memory resource, elastic network interface, and other tasks. Then Fargate and ECS fundamental, we have a cluster. So cluster can be Fargate, where we have a serverless, or you can use that in EC2 plus Linux environment and EC2 plus Windows environment. So if you are using the EC2 plus Linux, you have to maintain that in a cluster yourself, right? EC2 plus Windows, same similar. So we have a three type of a cluster templates available in ECS: Fargate, EC2 with Linux and Windows. An ECS cluster is a logical grouping of a task or services. Cluster are region specific, like other services in AWS. Cluster can contain a task using both the Fargate and EC2 launch instance. So that's all. Let me open that in a Amazon ECS. So I'm in logging into that in AWS console, and here you can see under the service we have a container. Inside the container we have Elastic Container Registry and then Elastic Container Services. We have a Elastic Kubernetes services and many more, but that is not a part of this course. So we are going to focus on that in next demo, Elastic Container Service. And that's all. Thanks for watching. Please watch that in the next lectures, where we are going to do the demo of the Elastic Container Services. Thank you.